Hello dear students, so myself Raminder Kaur. This is second video lecture of chapter number 5, Morphology in Flowering Plants. As in the basic introduction, we have studied that angiosperms, the flowering plants, they have different organs in them and all of them play very important functions for different purposes. So we have studied roots, its modification, types, different regions. Now today we will start with the stem structure. So what are the basic features that differentiate the stem from the root? It is including the shoot system, it is present above the soil and it consists of various kind of branches, sometimes densely branched, sometimes profusely branched. It consists of leaves, flowers, fruits on them. As we have studied, roots are always originating from radical part of the embryo and the stem originates from the plumule of the embryo in a germinating seed. Stem bear two parts, nodes and internodes. In this picture, you can see the branches are the parts which are divided into further stems, that is called as node, and the distance between two successive nodes is known as internode position. Now, the region of the stem where leaves are born are called nodes and the portion between two of them is called as internode. Various kind of buds are present on the stem. Some are terminal and some are axillary. Now, how these buds vary from each other? Axillary buds are those which are present in between the stem and the leaf. Terminal are those wherever the stem is ending and the bud is located on the apex portion. Stem, in case of herbs, you have seen that it is green in color. But while as we are moving from shrubs to normal sized trees and then tall trees, the color is changing from woody to dark brown. The very common functions which are performed by the stem, that it conducts water through xylem, then it conducts minerals also through xylem, then it transports food through phloem, which are the major photosynthates. So photosynthates are the products which are produced during photosynthesis. And there are certain modifications that stem can perform the function of storage of food, then it can sport, it can again help in defense mechanism and vegetative propagation. Let's talk about few of the modifications of the stems. So it is always not so erect. Sometimes the stem could be present horizontal as well. They are modified to perform different functions. The very first is sometimes stem is found underground. Generally, we say that shoot system is always found above the soil and there are certain modifications like potato. So it is an underground stem. Ginger is an underground stem. Then turmeric, then zamikand, colchicea. All of these, they are present underground in the soil and they can store food in them. Even they can act as organs of perennation so that during the unfavorable conditions, they can survive in those situations in the form of stem only. And when there are favorable conditions, you must have seen when we are bringing potatoes from the market. After some times, if they started growing from the eyes like structure, the notches present in the potatoes, and they started growing, right? So it means a favorable conditions have come and now they are started germinating because potato is an underground stem. So this is called as organ of perennation. Number second, sometimes stems are found in the form of tendrils, which are simply developed from axillary buds, and you mostly have seen these tendrils are found in those climbers. These days in summer season, we are eating cucumber, pumpkins, watermelon or grapes, right? So these climbers, they need some support. So that support is provided by the stem in the form of tendrils. They are very flexible, very soft, and if we attach any support to them, they just start coiling around them. And this you have studied in class 10. It is because of the auxin that these coil-like structures, they are produced in the case of tendrils. Next, number third modification of stem is that the axillary buds sometimes they can convert into thorns. These thorns, they can sometimes woody and sometimes they are very pointed. Now the thorns, they are acting as very simple and normal defense mechanism. They are found in citrus, bougainvillea. So what are the need of these thorns in the plants? Plants are stationary in nature, but when the animals will come to graze them, when there will be thorns, it will be difficult for them to eat those kind of plants. So these are acting as natural mechanism for the plants for protection. So some plants, now number 4, they have modified stems into their flattened stem is present or sometimes fleshy stem is present, and it contains chlorophyll. Generally we say leaves, they contain chlorophyll in the chloroplast organelle and they perform photosynthesis. But in certain cases, the green colored stem is flattened and perform photosynthesis. So if we look upon this 5.6 figure, number 1 is storage. They have shown the ginger is a stem, zamikand, potato, these are the stems which can store food in them. Then number B, they have shown it is these tendrils, they are present helping in support. So number third is protection. So you can see in bougainvillea, the thorns or spines are present in them. Then number D part is there, that they are, stems are helping in vegetative propagation, right? So roots are arising from the nodes and they can easily grow into a new plant. So underground stems such as grass and strawberry, they can spread into new niches. Niches mean new habitat. And when older parts die, the new plants are formed from them. Mostly you have seen mint, pudina, right? And even a jasmine. They have lateral branches from the main axis and they are directly attached or they are going downwards to touch the ground. So lateral branches, they have both nodes and internodes and they bear rosette of leaves. Rosette of leaf means a rose-like structure. A bundle of leaves are present, right? And the tufts of roots are originating from that location. It is found in Pistia and the Eishonia. So if I zoom this picture, you can see this is mint, right? So you can see runners. So how a single plant and then a runner, a long stem. The runner is a stem. So then again a new leaves are started growing on them. And you can see roots are originating from each tuft. Tuft of roots are there. Tuft means a bundle, a bunch of roots are there. So whenever you take leaves of mint, the leaves, they regrow again because these stems have the one kind of meristem that is present called as intercalary meristem. Now let's come to banana, pineapple and chrysanthemum. The lateral branches, they are originating from the very basal portion, grow horizontally beneath the soil and they come upwards and give rise to leafy shoots. So these are the certain modifications which are generally not present in all the flowering plants, but they are restricted to few of the examples only. Now let's come to the structure that is leaf, which is also known as kitchen of the plant because it is the main part where food gets synthesized. So leaves are mostly lateral in location. They are very flattened, well exposed structure because if the leaves will be well exposed, then only it can trap the sunlight and convert light energy into chemical energy. So they are developing at the nodes, right? And they consist of bud in its axil and that is called as axillary bud. So if you look upon this structure, parts of a leaf, you can see the number first part, that is stem. So leaves are attached to the stem. Now, the stem is attached to the leaf with the help of petiole. Like suppose if I say to you that pluck a leaf. So you will pluck a leaf and you will hold a leaf from petiole only. And then can you see the axil? So axil is the just part at which the leaf or the petiole is attached to the stem. So if a small bud is present in that notch, that bud is called as axillary bud. Then a broad portion in the leaf is called as lamina, or we can say it as leaf blade. Lower part of the leaf is called as leaf base, and then you can see so many lines present on the leaf which are called as veins, and the arrangement of veins is called as venation. The largest vein is present in the center and we call it as midrib, right? So we were talking about axillary bud, so it can develop into more branches. So leaves are originating from shoot apical meristem, and these are very important organs where photosynthesis takes place. So as we have already talked, looking upon the structure of the leaf, there are three parts of the leaf. Number one, leaf base, number two, petiole, and number three, lamina. So leaf base is that part by which leaf is attached to the stem, and then small leaf-like structures are present which are called as stipules. So this diagram is in your book also. So you can see axillary bud is shown and stipules are shown. In monocots, so monocots are those in which only single cotyledon is present. Leaf base expands a lot into a sheath which can also cover the stem, sometimes fully and sometimes only half. In some leguminous plants, so what are leguminous plants? Which are actually legumes, phaliyan, right? So there are different kind of legumes. It can be peas, it can be beans. So beans are of also different types, garden beans, then French beans, then kidney beans. So in that leaf base, it becomes swollen, little bit swollen, and that portion is called as pulvinous. So petiole is just, we are using help. It helps us to hold it, and long thin flexible petioles, they are mostly present so that it can allow the leaf to flutter. Flutter means to revolve during the wind, and thereby cooling the leaf, because there is transpiration which is taking place, and bringing the fresh air to the leaf surface. Now the last portion, that is called as lamina, the main part which is helping in trapping of the light energy, also known as leaf blade. It is green in color because of chloroplast in it. It has veins and veinlets, and this main largest prominent vein is called as midrib. Veins, what are the main functions of veins? Through which the transportation of three things can take place. Number one, water, number two, minerals, and number three, food materials. Food materials are actually sucrose. Then coming to the shape, margin, apex, surface, all these vary from one plant to the another. We cannot say that all leaves are of same size, shape and margins. They have different varieties according to the type of plant they are found in. Now coming to next part, that is venation in the leaves only. So venation is what? The arrangement of the veins and veinlets on the leaves is called as venation. So when they are forming network-like structure, like you can see figure 5.7 B part, then that network-like structure of veins is called as reticulate venation. It is mostly found in dicotyledons. But in the second C diagram, you can see all the veins are running parallel to each other. That kind of venation is called as parallel venation, and it is found in monocotyledons. Now let's come to types of leaves. Mostly you have seen neem plants, so maybe you must get confused that there are so many leaves present on the branches of the neem plant, but actually these are leaflets. They are not the leaves. The whole part means this is actually one leaf consisting of so many leaflets. So a leaf is said to be simple when lamina is entirely just made up of single leaf. But when the incisions, they are dividing, the midrib is divided into many other leaflets. The leaf is also known as compound leaves. So first of all, you must remember that there are two kinds of leaves. Number one, simple leaves, as we have already talked and as we have already seen in the upper diagrams. So simple leaf means when there is only single midrib and the whole lamina is only one. But in case when there midrib is divided into various incisions and there are many leaflets present, that is called as compound leaf. So both figure 5.8 A and B, they are showing the compound leaves. So actually it is comprised of one leaf, but as it is divided into many leaflets, it is known as compound leaf. It is of two types now. One is pinnately compound and second is palmately compound. So in case of palm trees, you must have seen that the leaflets are present in the rosette form. This we call as rosette, that there is only single origin. In this picture you can see the center is a single origin, single base is there to which all the leaflets are attached. But in case of pinnately compound, you can see the midrib is long, that we call as rachis, and then small leaflets are arranged on it. And number one is pinnately compound in neem and palmately compound leaf as in silk cotton. So next comes to the phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy means how leaves are arranged on the stem or the branch of a tree, right? In previous case we have talked about types of leaves. Now we are talking about arrangement of leaves, how they are arranged. So if you look upon China rose, so this phyllotaxy arrangement can be alternate, it can be opposite, or it can be whorled. In alternate, as example China rose, a single leaf arises at each node but in alternate manner. So this is right. So one leaf is originating on the right hand side, then at little distance on left hand side, then again at little distance on right, then again at another distance on left. So this is called as alternate arrangement, called as phyllotaxy. Now coming to second one example, guava leaves. You must have seen on that tree as well that leaves are present opposite to each other, means location is one. So one is present on the left hand side, other is on the right hand side. So this phyllotaxy is opposite at each node. And number third, as in Alstonia, this is called as whorled, means all the leaves are arranged at one center only and they are forming a circle shaped structure. Now after doing the types of leaves, then phyllotaxy means arrangement, let's talk about modifications of leaves. So generally, as we have said, that leaves are performing a single function, that is they are acting as kitchens, means they are preparing food. So apart from this photosynthesis, some leaves are converted into tendrils also for climbing, as in peas, or number second in the form of spines in cactus. So you can see in the first diagram, in case of peas, leaves, their topmost part, now it is converted into tendrils and acting as a support part. In case of cactus, leaves are modified into the spines. So this is a fleshy stem. This is not a leaf. This is not a leaf, this is a fleshy stem, and leaves are modified into spines because cactus is grown in the desert area. So if the leaves will be enlarged, then more transpiration will take place and more dehydration can occur. That's why either leaves are absent or they are needle shaped or spine shaped in nature. Then coming to number third part. Number third diagram, you can see onion. So these are the fleshy leaves, right? So now leaves are acting as storage organs, even in the garlic. So it is storing food in them. And in some plants such as Australian acacia. Acacia is a very common tree in India called as kikkar in Punjabi, right? So leaves are very small and very short-lived, right? And the petioles, they expand, means who is performing photosynthesis in acacia? Petioles. And they can synthesize the food. They have chloroplast and having chlorophyll pigment. If you remember in lower classes, you have talked about insectivorous plants, pitcher plant, Venus flytrap. So they were the modified leaves. They cannot prepare their own food. They are coming under heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So those pitcher plants, a leaf-like structure is there and leaf base is there on the top. So whenever any insect come, they trap the insect inside and then they eat the food from it. So this was for today's lecture. So let's study about inflorescence flower in the next lecture. Till then, learn this and thank you.